What's going on, guys? Matt here, coming to you from Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. So today we're going to be doing another model review. Today we're doing the 2025 Softails Street Bob. So in the 2025 model year, as many of you guys know by now, Harley-Davidson applied a lot of big upgrades to the whole Softail line this year, not just the Street Bob. But I've got a 24 model year Street Bob and a 25 model year. So it's gonna help us kind of look at all the small details, everything that changed this year. At first glance, it looks like maybe not a whole lot was changed, but there's a lot of significant changes on the Softails this year. Whole new electrical architecture, ride modes, 117 cubic inch version of the Milwaukee-Eight. It's center cooled this year as well, so different head design helps cool it down a little bit more. We got a new laced wheel on the 25 model year Street Bob as well. So we're gonna be jumping into all the details, going over pricing, and I'm giving you guys my opinion about the Street Bob, where it's been and where it's going. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at the 2025 model year Street Bob. So ever since the 2006 model year when the Street Bob was first introduced, it has always been Harley-Davidson's factory bobber. And some of you may be asking, what does bobber actually mean? So at the end of World War II, a lot of the returning home GIs were getting these old military issued motorcycles and they were trimming parts off of them. They were chopping or bobbing fenders, meaning like cutting them off. And really they were just getting rid of every unnecessary part possible on the motorcycle to make it go faster. The less weight equaled a faster motorcycle. And because there wasn't really performance parts back then, that was pretty much the only lever you could pull on to make your bike go faster in those times. And the style has always kind of stayed there, where people that take stock bikes from the factory, for example, and start chopping things, making things smaller, and just really getting rid of everything that isn't 100% necessary. Those bikes in the motorcycle world have always been called bobbers. In the car world, sometimes they call them like rat rods or street rods, and the guys that drive them are referred to as greasers, but it's kind of the same culture as bobbers in the motorcycle world, a really classic minimalist style, and that's what the Street Bob has always kind of had. So it is the lowest price point in the Softail lineup this year with the subtraction of the Softail Standard. The Softail Standard was a bike that Harley-Davidson introduced to hit a lower price point, which is a strategy that a lot of people online were calling for. I always saw it in the comments section, but honestly, my personal opinion, it's a strategy that doesn't really work in the Harley-Davidson world, because what I personally saw is that people were willing to pay a little bit more if it meant getting a little bit more motorcycle, a little bit nicer finishes, a little bit bigger engine, because the Street Bob always outsold the Softail Standard. But that's another topic for another day. So the Street Bob is the least expensive Softail in the lineup, like I mentioned, coming in at $17,199. That's for a base one with the cast wheels coming in billiard gray. If you want to get one in the vivid black like shown in this video, it's an extra $350. And this year they introduced a new laced wheel option. So for $850, you can get the laced wheels from the factory. For a long time in the Street Bob's past, the laced wheels were just the standard issue wheel on this bike. And then in recent years, it became an option where you can get the cast wheel like I'm showing here on this 2024 model year. And then this year in the 25 model year, they had this two-piece cast aluminum laced wheel where you have the spokes mounted kind of externally on the rim on the outside. That way you're able to run a tubeless tire on this bike as well, which is kind of nice. And you're also able to have the tire pressure monitoring system, which is one of the new features in the 24 Softail lineup. So let's talk engine first of all. So this year, all the Softails got the 117 cubic inch Milwaukee-Eight. It's also what's called the center cooled version, which is a different head design. Basically, it pipes cooled water through like the heads, the exhaust ports of the bike, and it cools it off significantly more than the old oil cooled heads. So the bike does run cooler. The last model year we saw the 114 cubic inch Milwaukee-Eight. The 114 first debuted on the Street Bob back in the 2021 model year. That's when they gave it like the Racing Custom 1 graphic on the tank, kind of similar to this 24 I have in the video here. They ran a variation of that graphic for about 4 years, just different color combinations. Personally, I think they had that graphic for way too long. It was very cool the first couple years, but then after the third and fourth year, it was like, okay, Harley, we need to change this up. So it was very nice to see Harley-Davidson go to a brand new unique badging on the tank this year. But getting back to the engine, I've covered this in videos past, but I'll repeat it again. This year on the Softails, there's 3 different variations of this 117 cubic inch displacement Milwaukee-Eight. So there's 6 Softails total in the lineup this year, and there's 3 variations of this engine. So the Street Bob gets what's called the Classic Tune, and that comes with a unique style air cleaner as well. So the Heritage Classic and the Street Bob both get the Classic Tune. I think the best way to describe this tune is it just has a little bit more of that traditional tuning and power delivery that you're used to in a Harley, a lot of that low-end torquey grunt, and it kind of plateaus out when you get into the higher RPM range. So this is a bike that you live pretty much between about 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. Getting too much above or below that, you're not really going to be running the engine at its optimal RPM range. So the bike puts out 98 horsepower and 120 foot-pounds of torque. To compare that to the high output engine, which is the highest performing engine in the Softail family, which is shared by the Lowrider S and Lowrider ST. On the high output engine, you're putting out 114 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque. So 8 more foot-pounds of torque and about 16 more horsepower. So it's a nice little bump, but honestly, it also comes with the requirement of really running the high output Milwaukee-Eight at a higher RPM. And a lot of Harley riders just don't ride in a manner where they're really going to benefit from that. And so the Street Bob is all about the classic look, nature, and appeal of the bike. So if your riding style is such that you really want to wring it out and ride the bike as hard as possible, maybe the Street Bob isn't your best choice. That being said, the 25 model year Street Bob is still faster and more powerful than last year's 114 cubic inch Milwaukee-Eight, and that wasn't a slow bike. So this is a very quick cruiser for sure, and so in no way are you getting a slow motorcycle by getting this bike. I think it's also worth mentioning that because we no longer have the air-cooled Evo Sportsters in the lineup, they were replaced by the Rev Max Sportsters. This is the least expensive air-cooled big twin you can get from the factory now. So if you're looking for the traditional look, sound, and feel of a Harley-Davidson, where you bolt up a set of mufflers or pipes to it, and you're gonna get that iconic exhaust note and sound and feel, then this is the least expensive bike in Harley-Davidson's lineup that's gonna give that to you. Now, speaking of performance and riding bikes fast, if you're a guy that wants to get the most horsepower and performance per dollar spent, then either the Nightster or the Sportster S is gonna be your top choice. The new Sportsters perform at a significantly higher level than the old air-cooled Sportsters. And really that can't be overstated. The new Sportsters are so much faster and so much lighter than like the old 1200 XL 1200C and the Iron 883, which is a very good seller, but the Iron 883 was not a quick bike by anybody's standards. But getting back to the Street Bob, so another big change on all the Softails this year is they went to a brand new electrical architecture. And what does that mean exactly? So first off, we'll go to the most obvious thing, and that is the gauges. So on the 18 to 24 model year Street Bobs, we had this nice clean flush LCD screen that was embedded in the top handlebar clamp, which was a big time minimalist play on the designers, and it looked really nice. But this year, because of the added electronics and the added information that needed to be displayed on the screen, they had to go to a bigger display. Things like your tire pressure monitoring, your ride modes. They had to go to a gauge that mounts on that same handlebar top clamp. The switch housings have also been enlarged quite a bit. I think that's probably one of the biggest cosmetic complaints I've heard about the 2025 model year, but honestly the trade-off is definitely worth it. Yes, you have a bigger electronics footprint on the bike with the larger gauge and the larger hand controls, but the added function you get out of it, in my opinion, is worth it. Now, a lot of the bodywork is going to be identical, things like the fenders, the tank. Speaking of the tank, you do have a 3.5 gallon fuel tank. This fuel tank over the years, I've heard a lot of people give it criticism because it's not the 5 gallon and so you don't have as much range. My argument would be that, you know what, Harley-Davidson made a conscious decision to make it smaller and so that you could see more of the head design on the Milwaukee-Eight. So if you look at this bike next to like a Lowrider S, for example, you're going to see just more of the motor. And as Brad Richards would say, if you make the parts on the motorcycle smaller and keep the engine size the same, then it makes that engine just look that much bigger, and that was exactly what was accomplished on the Street Bob. So for those of you who are looking to get 180 to 200 miles out of one fuel tank and really do some distance riding, maybe the Street Bob isn't for you. I would definitely say that the Street Bob probably isn't the best distance bike choice in Harley-Davidson's lineup. If you're a distance guy and you want a classic style bike, you probably are going to want to go to the Heritage, but you're easily still going to get 120 to 130 miles to the tank on this bike, no problem. So the cast aluminum wheel on the 25 model year is the same as we've seen like on the 24 and a couple years past. I think it looks pretty good, but maybe I just missed the spoke wheels on the Street Bob, but I kind of like the lace wheel option better on the 25 if I were to get one myself. Let me know what you guys think though in the comment section below. Do you guys prefer the lace wheels on a Street Bob, or do you prefer the cast wheels on the Street Bob? Couple things that have never really changed about the Street Bob. You've got these little mini ape hangers that have a wrinkle black finish on them. So kind of a fist in the air type of riding style that I think is really in line with the type of rider and their preferences on a bobber style bike. The seat is very minimalist, just a small little tuck and roll stitch seat on there. You do have a passenger seat as well with passenger pegs. The passenger seat is definitely a girlfriend seat, not a wife seat. It's probably only good for about 20 minutes before your passenger starts complaining. Of course, you got the signature little rubber gator guards on the front forks on the Street Bob that add and complement the overall bobber styling. Another big change that they made on 4 of the 6 Softails this year, including the Street Bob, is a 2-into-1 pipe. As you can see on the 24 model year Street Bob, you had like a staggered dual exhaust on there, which is not a bad look. I like it. But I think for this bike, I think the 2-into-1 exhaust was a nice styling choice that the motor company did. It also makes it easier to swap out the muffler and get some more sound out of it as well. And since a lot of the guys that are customizing Softails these days are all going to a 2-into-1 pipe, it just makes a lot of sense to just do it from the factory. Speaking of styling, Harley-Davidson did move in the direction of chrome this year on the Street Bob, which I thought was an interesting choice. Personally, I think it was a cool way to mix it up just because we've seen these all blacked out, wrinkle black engine trim for a long time on the Street Bob. Bobbers are kind of like that rat rod garage bike look. For a long time, Harley-Davidson had them classified as part of their dark custom line, along with the Iron 883, the Night Train, the Crossbones, the 48, things like that. So chrome was used very sparingly on all of these motorcycles. So to see them use chrome on the Street Bob is quite a bit of a departure from the typical styling on this motorcycle. But I do think they decided just to go a little bit more classic style on the Street Bob and maybe step away from that garage dark custom rat rod look. I think it works though. I think it looks really good. As part of that bobbed or chopped fender in the rear, you don't have a normal tail light. You have your brake light and your turn signals all integrated into the 2 bullet turn signals in the rear. You've got that side mount license plate holder as well. As far as seating position goes, you do have the mid controls on this bike, so it gives you that feet below your hips type of a rider stance. Fits up in the air a little bit with the mini ape hanger bars like I mentioned before. In my opinion, if you're between about 5'8" to 5'10", this bike is going to fit you perfect from the factory. If you're taller than that, you might need to get a new seat to push it back a little bit. My knees are pretty high up on the fuel tank on this bike when I ride it, and so if I got one myself, I would definitely change it out. Now let's talk a little bit about who I would recommend this bike for. And as with all Harley-Davidson purchases, the thing that I coach people to do is really ask themselves 2 questions. What is your use case? What are you going to use the bike for? What type of riding are you going to be doing? And the second thing is, what style are you going to go for? This is a Harley-Davidson after all. You have to look at it and be like, damn, that's a sick bike. You know, you have to really like your motorcycle, and it has to be something that you're proud of. And like Brad Richards said in a recent interview I did with him, it has to be a bike that's like an extension of your personality, or the bike has to communicate to the world the persona that you want to portray. And so it's an image thing. So in a nutshell, it's your use case and the style you're looking for. And you can also take into account the type of modifications that you're going to be doing. You know, what kind of bars you're going to do. Are you going to change the wheels? You're going to do seat? What kind of pipe are you going to throw on there, if anything? And so if I'm looking at this, you know, I always look at the bikes priced below it and above it. You know, priced below it, you've got bikes like the Nightster and the Sportster S, I think is slightly below it. So those are completely different animals. If you want something like I mentioned before, super fast, super light, and really is the sportiest bike that Harley-Davidson offers, then the Sportsters are a great choice for you. But if you want a traditional Harley-Davidson with the look, sound, and feel of a traditional air-cooled V-twin, then this is probably going to be the bike that you want to go with. Above this, you have a Lowrider S. You're about $3,300 for a Lowrider S. And for that money, you get the high output version of the 117 Milwaukee, like I mentioned. You're about 10% more power, and you get like dual disc brakes in the front. The Street Bob only has a single disc brake. So in heavy braking situations, maybe you do a ton of canyon riding, then the dual disc brakes can really help with like the brake fade and everything. The Lowrider S also has the 5-gallon fuel tank, a little bit different styling on everything, full fenders. But because it does have quite a bit different styling, then maybe the Lowrider S doesn't speak to you. The Street Bob definitely has that bobber category monopolized in the Harley-Davidson's lineup. It used to have a lot of bikes that were kind of that rat rod bobber style, and now really the only one that's left is the Street Bob. But I feel like in the custom world, there's less guys doing that type of a build. Yeah, you still have your chopper guys. You don't have too many of like the rat rod guys anymore in the Harley-Davidson world. So because the custom world is doing that less and less, I think that style speaks to less and less buyers out there. And so I think maybe it is a good idea that Harley-Davidson has shifted its styling a little bit on this bike. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think as well. So if you're looking for that style, you're looking for a traditional big twin engine on a Harley-Davidson, and you want to get a bike sub $20,000, then the Street Bob is probably going to make a lot of sense for you, especially if you squeeze in every ounce of power out of the motor isn't a top priority of yours. Now, like I mentioned before, if you're a guy that is maybe coming from the sport bike world, or maybe you're coming from the dirt bike, motocross world or something like that, and you're a go fast dude, you really want to get out there, rip the canyons real hard, then I would definitely take a hard look at a Lowrider S. I don't think anybody buys the Street Bob and really thinks that this is going to be like their cross-country touring machine. It's definitely far away from that. Is it a good first bike? You know, this is kind of a funny question I get asked a lot, and I cover it a lot, but I'll just answer it real quick. As a very, very first motorcycle, I don't think there is a single Harley-Davidson in the lineup that is a good, very, very first motorcycle if you're a completely green rider. Now, if you have some riding experience and you're comfortable with the basic mechanics of riding a motorcycle, then yeah, this can be a very good first Harley-Davidson, absolutely. But that's about all I got on the Street Bob in the 2025 model year, guys. Hopefully I was able to help you out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody. And as always, if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Harley-Davidson in Southern California, come stop by and visit us here at Laidlaw's Harley-Davidson. I'm also taking requests on videos, guys. Let me know in the comment section below any requests on future videos that I should do. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.